good. I wish you would have told me
You wish you were
earlier.
fish?
No, I just wish I would have gotten a heads up earlier. Done something different.
And don't forget when you get here, Caitlin. Just in case, I don't know if she's watching.
In case she's watching.
She might.
Put a
because
can.
it's her mother's-
Here, do you want
Hold
me
on.
to just?
I need autumn harvest. Here we go.
Caitlin will put a K.
And that's not what I screwed up when I did it 4 years ago. She's still mad at me.
Oh, yeah. No, she,
Is that okay?
It was the vowel that got me, to be fair.
Okay, well, there you go.
I don't know what I said, but it wasn't right. I yelled at for 6 years.
I know.
And I've only been here 4, so it's hard to yell at for 6 years.
And I think she's, I didn't,
Come
I
on.
think, well, they're not gonna be here anyhow. Mandy Schwartz is in this go around, but they won't be here.
Let's touch base on that again later, by the way, because I feel like I'm. I feel like they're off by like 2 sometimes.
They are. I know.
Well, it's not helping me.
I checked, because I came in and I checked, and she, in fairness, Tina doesn't know the names. But Angela wants her to cut and paste so that the names aren't, we don't put them in individually, and she doesn't know the difference, but.
Yalla, yalla. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Welcome to Temple B'nai Israel. It's great to see everyone here. I know those in radio land, TV land, streaming land. It's great to have everyone joining us as well. I am here with
Heather Kaufman.
who's going to be joining us on the Bima as our soloist this evening, which will be lovely. We're going to begin on page 128 as we turn to our friends and neighbors and wish them a Shabbat Shalom, followed by Ma Yafeh Hayom. So first, let's Shabbat Shalom each other. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Barbers in the cheap seats. Shabbat Shalom. And let's join together. Ma Yafeh Hayom, page 128.
Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Let's turn to page 127, it's one page back, and continue responsively. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain.
On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal.
So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. Let's turn now to page 120 and 121 as we continue our travels backwards through the prayer book. For candlelighting and Kiddush, Kabbalat Panim, we call to come forward Barbara Bloom and Melissa Brahm. Let's all rise together. Is that mic on? Well, you know, okay, say the words. If you want, pick one. It's your night, pick one.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahad likner shel Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehad likner shel Shabbat.
The heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing. And God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done. Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kadsho, be'ahava uvratzon, hin hilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila, lamikrae kodesh, zeher litziat mitzrayim, ki vanu vaharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hin haltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-shabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. Thank you. We can take our seats. We're on page 138 and 139 for singing of Lecha Dodi. We'll be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And on that final verse, we'll rise together and face the door to greet the Sabbath bride. How was the Kiddush? How was the juice? Good?
A fine grade?
Yeah. I gotta keep track of these things here now. It's good. Okay.
You have like a graph?
Now that I'm charting it out every week. Okay. Now that I've had a little Kiddush wine, or Kiddush grape juice, we're going to come together now with Lecha Dodi. Let's welcome this beautiful sacred day of rest together.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nikabla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nikabla. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmianu el ham yachad, Adonai echad ushmo echad, l'shem ultiferet v'latila, Lecha Dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nikabla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nikabla. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nei lecha, ki hi mikor habracha. Merosh mikdem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'mach hashvat tehillah. Lecha dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nikabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nikabla. Hitoreri, kiva orechu mi ori, uri shir daberi, kevod Adonai ale yiknigla, lecha dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nikabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nikabla. Boi v'shalom ateret balach, gam besimcha uv'tzahala, tochemune am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nikabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nikabla.
We turn now to page 145. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, the mystery of a withered leaf, unripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Together, teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. On the next page, the Baruch Hu, our call to worship.
Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayers? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Barechu et Adonai hamivorach. Baruch Adonai hamivorach. Leolam vaed. Leolam vaed. Yalla lai lai lai. 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 Yalla lai lai lai.
On page 149, we can take our seats. Let's continue together. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. On page 151 in the middle of the page. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. Together.
All these things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What could be a truer token of your abiding love
Than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. On the next page, page 152, please rise for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
Let's take our seats. On page 154, let's continue with the Via Hafta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha V'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shiftecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'aderech, uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha, ukshartam le'od al yadecha, v'hayu letotafod bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, Uvi sharecha, leman tizkaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hiyitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti ethem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lechiyot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
On page 157, at the top of the page, we'll continue responsively. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot.
That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness.
That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. On the next page, a song of our freedom, of our redemption, Mi Chamocha.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Malechutecha ra'u v'ranecha, bokei ayom lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli anu ve'amru, ze'eli anu ve'amru. Adonai yimloch le'olam vad. Adonai yimloch le'olam vad. Ya la la ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la.
One more time.
I had to get clap in one more clap.
Okay, let's turn to page 161. Let's continue on the top of the page and continue together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. You know, I like that reading very much. And you know who also likes that reading? Is Noah Aronson, who's a Jewish musician, singer-songwriter. Actually, the Baruch that we did was from Noah Aronson. And as chance would have it, he's coming in just a month or so.
Really?
Really, yes, he is. In mid-December, December 18th, he is coming to Pinellas County for a concert sponsored by Federation.
Can we get tickets for that?
Indeed, you can. On the Federation website, you can get tickets, very low cost. It'll be at 2 p.m., and it's just a fantastic experience. His music is really wonderful. December 18th, which is the Sunday right before Hanukkah. So
What a great way to celebrate the Festival of Lights.
I think so, too. And scene. We're going to now turn to page 162 as we continue with a song for Shabbat. That'll be V'yismechu.
Bum bum ba-dum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum bum. Yismechu, yismechu, v'halehu techa. Yismechu, yismechu, v'malehu techa. Shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Bum bum ba-dum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum bum. Yismechu, yismechu, v'malehu techa. Yismechu, yismechu, v'malehu techa. Shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. I think that was a no. That was like a dead no. I think we have to stay
We
with
gotta
the
find that melody and teach that melody some
in
more.
key.
What am I to say? Asking the wrong rabbi about being in key. So, with that said, let's turn to 164 as we rise together for the Amidah HaTefilah. We'll be continuing from 164 through page 170 in the Hebrew, as opposed to the Greek or Aramaic.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Hasdei Avot v'Imaot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah Rav Lechoshia, Mashiv Harua, Umorid Hagashem, Mehakel Hayim Bechesed, Michaye hakol berachabim rabim. So noflim verofei cholim. Umatir asurim. Umekayem emunato lishene afar. Micha mocha ba'el givurot. Umidom melach. Melech memit umechaye umatzmiya Yeshua v'ne'ema anata l'chachayot hakol Baruch ata Adonai mechaye hakol Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh ukdoshim b'chol yom yahalelu l'asela Baruch ata Adonai ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. Let's continue on page 173 at the top of the page. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. On page 175, the top of the page, let's continue together. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha ba'ira na'avod. On page 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words. Together, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. On page 178, we're going to continue with Shalom Rav, a prayer for peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. V'tov be'evnecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. B'chol etu v'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam.
We turn now to page 371 as our thoughts turn to those in our community, our family, our loved ones that are in need of healing. Whether they are in need of physical, mental, or spiritual healing, we take them into our thoughts at this time of prayer. And we're going to continue in the middle of the page. Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mikol HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
We are thinking of at this time wishing a complete healing of body, mind, and spirit. We're thinking of Pat Adamson, Eric Adler, Raymond Douglas Alcorn, Dr. Marty Bilo, Evan Bin, Ann Cole, Richard Corwin, Mark Edelstein, Mickey Edelstein, Benjamin Edelstein, and Brian Edelstein, Danielle Heyman Feist, Eric Fisk and Z Fisk, Philip Gelman, Bob Gold and Carolyn Gold, Jennifer Gousset, Barbara Green and Buddy Green, Marvin Hollander, Stuart J., Robert Jaffe, Lori Kettleman, Doris Kirschner, Wendy Sugarman Krosnoff, Hank Corin, Dr. Sonia Linky, Michael Lynch, Dolores Munsick, Ruth Polar, Gloria Radeski, Lee Siegel and Stacy Siegel, Dr. Cindy Steinman, Pete Tanner, and Fred Truex. Would anyone like to mention the name of someone they are thinking of? Please speak their name out loud as my eyes meet yours. Taking these names into our hearts with those that we're saying out loud at home, we continue as we say,
Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha La'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
let's continue now with a moment of silent prayer and reflection.
Eli, Eli, Shelo Yigomer Leolam, Hakol V'Hayam, Rishru Shel Hamayim, Berach HaShamayim, Tefilat Hadam, Hakol V'Hayam, Rishru Shel Hamayim, Berach HaShamayim, Tefilot Hadam. O Lord my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of man, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of man.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So what do we want to talk about tonight? Anything on anyone's mind? Yeah? No? We figured I'll do a little Ask the Rabbi session today. Any sort of questions we have about what's going on in the Jewish world. There are just a couple of things that have been happening over the past couple of weeks, certainly. Or just maybe something on your mind is fine as well, from a Jewish life perspective. So I thought we could open it up a little bit for some questions. And if I don't know, I might make it up or I might get back to you later.
How about what's going on in Jacksonville over the past week?
See what's going on in Jacksonville, where they had some really terrible anti-Semitic messaging in Jacksonville. Sort of as one might have noted the past couple of weeks, there's been just a little bit of talk about anti-Semitism going on, thanks to a couple folks in the public eye. And it's been not so great. It's been a little scary. I mean, I'm making an assumption that everyone has read the Kanye West stuff. At this point, that Kanye West now he's Yay. He will always be, boo at this point. So Kanye West went on a bit of a Twitter rant and said he's going DEFCON 3 on all the Jews, and he then did some subsequent interviews that were just laced with anti-Semitism. It was almost refreshing. It was almost like old school anti-Semitism, because usually anti-Semitism now, there's a lot of like anti-Israel stuff, that becomes sort of like anti-Semitic. But Kanye didn't even touch on Israel. I mean, we got a little bit of like the original, I guess because he's an original style rapper, I guess we got some original style anti-Semitism about Jews controlling the media and, Jews, hurting his career and Jews taking advantage of this and global domination, just all the hits, again, as befitting, I guess. And it was horrible, and he had time to clean up his statements, and no, he made them worse and not better. And then he was dropped, we saw all these petitions, I'm sure, again, on social media and whatnot about him being dropped from these companies. And Adidas, was a holdout because Adidas was founded by fascists. And so Adidas took a little extra time to get there. But they did eventually get there and disavowed him and cut ties, with him. So it's been very damaging because you have a public figure who's very popular and frankly has a broader Twitter following and a broader social media following than there are Jews in the world. So just to let that sink in for a second, it's like 15 million Jews. He's got like 80 million followers on these different social media platforms. And so it was not great, certainly, and he is going to be still in the public eye with a lot of this mishigas. And then less known, unless you're more into the sports world, but it might have popped up, was Kyrie Irving, who is a noted crazy person as it is. Sorry, Kyrie, but a noted crazy person as it is. And then he delved into anti-Semitism as well. And then it's like, sometimes life isn't that hard. If someone asks you, do you hold anti-Semitic views, the answer really should just be no. Even if the answer is yes, the answer should be no. It's pretty easy. There was a softball kind of question, and he couldn't pass the lowest of bars to sort of denounce anti-Semitism until he got suspended for 5 games. At least 5 games is the language that is being used. Adam Silver, not surprisingly, the commissioner of the NBA, is not thrilled. But that being said, he has been suspended for 5 games, and then he sent out a very nice apology to the Jewish community after he was suspended. So we could take that for what it's worth. There's no great answer to this. It's just stuff that's happening, and it's something that is definitely, in my mind, scary. I mean, tonight, as you might have heard, there's a credible threat to New Jersey synagogues, and there's just a lot of this in the air right now, and the anti-Semitism that these two are putting out is not helpful, certainly. And I hope at least in Kyrie's case, Kanye, who knows what he's doing, but in Kyrie's case, at least there has been a sense of openness to dialogue and discussion. How true that is, we'll find out. We're not hearing any chatter here. The people who get in touch with us when stuff is happening have not gotten in touch with us, other than just to say, again, more globally, just, the issues that we're seeing across the boards in the United States, and there are times of high chatter and there are times of low chatter, but there is too much chatter for, I think, most of our likings at this point. And we're always like taking security very, very seriously, and we always have our police presence outside. Really just when it comes to this stuff right now, it's a lot about being aware and seeing what people are saying and seeing which people are quiet right now. And because sometimes the out loud folks are one thing, but then we see who is stepping up and saying things, to support the Jewish community, and which voices are surprisingly quiet about that stuff. So I think that's part of the lesson, just to sort of see who's our friend, who's at our side, at these times, and who's not. Yep.
What seems to be shocking is that in the past, if someone started making anti-Semitic remarks, it would very quickly shut down, particularly among politicians, and you could be like, get your mouth shut really for a period of years. And now there seems to be this silence. These people, the people you think that should be speaking out are saying nothing.
Yes.
I find it unforgivable.
It is certainly troubling, to say the least, is what I would say. I would agree with that observation. But to be fair, also, it's not only the political realm, though that certainly is a problem, but just again more broadly, like seeing who's speaking out and what are they saying. And look, there's obviously a larger conversation, to do with education, to do with mental health, certainly in Kanye's case, and just like the relationship building that still has to take place, and a greater understanding. Again, part of the issue is, and to be tongue-in-cheek with it a little bit as I can be, the reality is that these tropes have been around for thousands of years, and it's very much like something that we have dealt with as a people, but it's when it comes back and it is more in the public eye, it is certainly scary to see it. It's scary to see what's happening on a university level. It's scary to see, in these different colleges, like really, frankly, unnuanced and really blunt attacks on the Jewish community. Like ripping mezuzahs off doors is not like, there's no justification. There's no like, well, it didn't really mean it to be anti-Semitic. I mean, like there's only so much you can do. When people are, spray painting swastikas, there's not like excuse for that. There's no, justification, moral or otherwise, for that kind of thing. It's just anti-Semitism. I mean, that's just what it is. And we have to call out for what it is. And hopefully, like leadership and, whether it's politicians or just people in positions of influence, positions of authority, or positions where their voice can make a difference and they speak out, are doing so. And that's what we hope for. And then again, for those people who can work with such folks, such that they can be worked with, but can work with such folks, to try to mitigate these instances in the future. Try to give them, let's make it a learning opportunity, God willing. Again, one can be cynical, on it, but the reality is you got to do something. You got to try, right? I mean, whether it works or not, I want to know that we are trying to, sort of work with some of these folks and try to get them on a better path, because this stuff is inbred, not inbred, that it's taught, is what I'm trying to say, that it's something that they were learned. It's a learned behavior. We have to be carefully taught. South Pacific, one of my favorites, and very true, that this is just something that our tradition tells us, and really life tells us, is something that's taught, and something, we're not born with this. We get to have it drilled into our heads. Yep, Winter? Yeah, the Jewish space laser was good. But I mean, but you have to remember, again, like as crazy as that sounds, that's not the craziest one. Like that's that's nothing compared to my favorite. Come on, it's been a couple of years. Anyone know my favorite anti-Semitic jibe, anti-Semitic claim? Got to go back about 1,000 years. Yeah, okay. Blood libel's always there. This is actually part of it. So the blood libel we know, and it was in the news recently. Just I forgot why, but there was something about it recently about the blood libel and about that's like when there was a kid, usually that was found dead in medieval times, they'd find some way to blame it, on the Jews, and it gave sort of an excuse then for the non-Jewish community to rampage and attack the Jewish community, and so whenever there was like a problem, like it was the Jews' fault. So blood libel is certainly up there. We also have the, we're gonna get there. That's gonna be where I'm gonna get to in a second. But the using the blood to make matzah and hamantash and all that other sort of stuff. So
Horns? Or horns?
horns are there. That's good. But the killing Jesus is always like sort of the top. But the best one is the spin-off of that idea, because it doesn't get much worse than deicide, so that's a pretty tough one. So what the belief was that in medieval times that Jewish people would break into churches and steal communion wafers. And why would we steal communion wafers for 5 points? Because they're delicious?
Sell them back.
I wouldn't know.
Sell them back to the Christians?
Sell them back to the to the Christians, So
Destroy the body of Jesus?
now we're getting closer. So,
Destroy the body of Jesus.
Exactly. So now we're getting warmer now on this. So the host, the communion wafer, what does that represent?
The body of Christ.
The body of Christ, and so this is my body, this is my blood. That's part of the communion ritual, right? But the idea being is that when you ingest the wafer, it is no longer a wafer, right? It has transubstantiated, a good word for us, transubstantiation, and so that then becomes the body, right? And so you are literally ingesting, the body, right? So, which is, to me a little weird, but that's another story for another day. But anyway, so the idea would be is that we would go home and we would take these wafers, and using our Jewish magic, we would take the wafer and we would transform it into Jesus so we can kill him again. Every single week, we can kill over and over again because it's our favorite pastime, deicide. It's better than pickleball. So that was the anti-Semitic canard that was thrown at us. And if you were saying or thinking to yourself, Rabbi, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life, yes, that's the point, is that this stuff is not grounded in any kind of reality, whether it's transubstantiation and deicide for days, whether it's horns, whether it's matzah made of blood of children, whether it's Jewish space lasers, whatever it might be. It is so far beyond the pale of any rational thought, because it's not the point. It doesn't have to be rational, and I was on a call recently, and it sort of reminds us, look, anti-Semitism, it's funny to hear it, but anti-Semitism, the claim was, isn't actually about Jews. And it sounds weird to hear, like anti-Semitism isn't about the Jews. Not saying that it isn't directed at us, but the idea is that there's nothing that we do to provoke anti-Semitism. There's nothing that we do to justify the creation of those kinds of fallacies. We're not out there in the world doing anything to anybody that would justify these kinds of attacks. It's not about us. It's about them. It's about some people who are a little, what? Thank you. That was a nicer word than I had in my head. Yes. Cuckoo is a good word. Thank you, Lori. we have the Homeland Security. So the question was for those at home about our security measures here, and that yes, so we have our Homeland Security grant, and we're still working on that. So we have it. We have the funds, but now it's a question of just putting them into good use. So that's going to be helpful. And again, we have the best protection is having the officer at the door. I mean, more than anything else, like that's the whole thing, is to have someone out there that is a deterrent. But we're going to continue to upgrade our own security practices. And I would also just say, that the more training, the better. I think that we have opportunities with our local law enforcement, with our local FBI contact, with national programs that are out there that are designed to go through synagogue and church, sort of safety. But look, everyone knows I have a buddy across the street, at Hope Presbyterian. Me and the good Reverend Bob Hill, he and I have, become close, and he came here about 6 months after, a little more actually, after I started, and he's a really good guy, and we're sitting there enjoying some Vietnamese food, I believe it was that day, and having a nice time. And then I ask him, I say, Bob, can my security folks, meet with your security folks one week and have a good conversation? And because we're right across the street from each other, we should maybe have some shared practices, some, redundancy there. That'd be helpful. And he looks at me and goes, I don't have a security committee. Because he doesn't need one. Doesn't need one. No one's looking out to get the Presbyterians across the street. That's not the deal, which was a sort of a painful reminder in a way, that's something that we have, and while by the way it should not be said that no other community has the need for a police presence or whatever it is, but certainly for us now it seems more like a reality, and that sort of stinks, as we know, that we sort of have to have the police presence, whether we believe we need one or don't believe that we need one. Like right now, that's just what it should be. Yeah, but 6 to 1.
Night or day shouldn't matter.
Yeah, and plus Shabbat morning is a thing, in a lot of places, having services there. So they meet in the morning, and so it's definitely different, I think, for the Jewish experience. And again, I try to look on try to see some of the positives, and right now it's a little trickier than it used to
there's
be.
a positive.
But I'm getting there. But do you want to jump in?
Yes. There was they're talking today about Tyler Perry. Did you see
Yeah,
the article
yeah,
about Tyler
yep,
Perry? That
no.
was kind of cool.
Yes, no, that's what I was sort of getting. It's the fact that, I think sometimes we, as the Jewish community, just as something maybe in us, sometimes tend to focus on the negative, like that's around, just maybe once in a while that might happen. But, we do need to also focus on the positive and the fact that there are people speaking out, there are people saying things, and there are, frankly, a lot more of us, so to speak, not in terms of us as the Jewish community, but us as in people of faith, people who come together for the good, and for the right, people who are looking out for each other. One of my my favorite sayings at this point is that as much as there is radical hate sort of in the world, there's also more radical love in the world than I think any other point in human history. We just have people of different races, religions, ethnicities, sexual orientation, gender identity, who get along quite fine, who just come and they're like, hi. And friendships, relationships develop very quickly. This is the best time in human history for that to happen. And that's a wonderful thing. And yes, there's some negative stuff going on too, but I'm an optimist. I always have been. I always believe that the good is going to win out, that we're going to win the day, in these struggles. There are dark times, but we're people who bring light. We are supposed to be an Or LaGoyim, a light to the nations. It's our job to spread light where there is darkness. It's a little dark with some of these things, and that's not great, but we can't be defeated by it. We can't be overwhelmed by it. It's not great, but that's okay. It'll be better again, and part of it is that we have to continue that struggle, continuing that fight, which is tiring. I understand that. It can feel a little bit exhausting to have to fight some of these fights that we have felt like we've already moved past some of this. Turns out maybe not. But again, it's not great. But we still have a voice, and we still have energy, we still have power, we still have the ability to create the world that we want to see.
And we have lasers.
And we have lasers to help us. So that's where I come in, at the end of it. Is that like these different things with Kanye and Kyrie? Look, in 3 months from now, no one's going to care about either of those two, people with that thing. It's going to be something that we have to think about, certainly, but we're going to keep working. We're going to keep doing our job, doing our thing, and try to keep moving forward. We're going to be cautious where we need to be cautious, but we're going to be loud where we need to be loud. And we need to be loud. We need now to really speak out and to make sure that our voices are heard and make sure that we tell, especially those who maybe are being a little bit too quiet, that we need their voice too. We need them to speak up because it's important for us to say things, to be out there in the world saying this isn't right, but also to have our allies make sure they're speaking up too. Because anti-Semitism is a slumbering giant that every time it wakes up. But we know what happened with Goliath. He doesn't win. We win at the end of the day. David slays the giant, and I feel like for us, that's who we are. We have this thing in front of us. It's not going to be easy, but we're going to keep on going out there, spreading the message of peace, of compassion, of kindness, of friendship, of tolerance, inclusivity. We're going to do that work, and we're going to create a more just world. And that's my thought. So, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Let's continue on page 586 as we rise together for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, la tet gedula leotzer reshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam helkenu kahem, vigor aleinu kichol hamona, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai v'melech ol kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad ushemo echad.
Let's take our seats. We're on page 597. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Congregation was saddened to announce the passing of Don Rolander, who was our temple's organist for actually over 50 years at the synagogue. And so we send our condolences to all of his friends, his family, his loved ones. There's going to be a funeral service on November 11th at 11 a.m. at Prince of Peace Lutheran Church, which was his church. And we're certainly invited to attend this tribute to someone who really meant so much to so many of us at the temple over his many years of service. We also think of those who died in this last year: Joan Keller, Leo Weintraub, Nina Stegg, Janet White, Phyllis Kraus, Phyllis Allman, Sheila Buckwalter, Bob Mansfeld, Albert Gart, Barry Dabowski, Ann Blumenkrantz, Shirley Matler, Richard Clausen, Mary John Resch, Liesl Schick, Jay Roth, Fran Brickman, John Conway, Michael Vereb, Janice Lederer, and Bernice Lipman. Bernice Lipman. And we think of those who passed away at this season in years past: Jack Abrams, Harry Adamson Jr., Howard Edelman, Richard Ash, Reba Azarva, Samuel L. Bakovich, Max Berman, Robert Bishop, Lionel Braunstein, Mildred G. Brody, Estelle Capelin, Rose Karp, Helen Cooper, Muriel Delton, Irving Dobkin, Hazel Donahue, Phyllis Gart, Bertha Goldberg, Simon Goldhair, Harry Gren, Francine Gross and Henrietta Gross, Samuel Jaffe, Fanny Kesselman, Nathan Krem, Lila Lawrence, Louis Lehrbaum, Gloria Levine, Mitchell Levine, Tony Mansfeld Lowenthal, Ida Love, Paula Mayer, Pauline Mendelson, Rose Michaels, Sissy Moss, Ida Ramey, Blanche S. Rosen, Bob Shire, Emmanuel Manny Schwartz, Simon I. Simonowitz, Harriet Singer, Madeline Sokol, Lori Thompson, Alfred Vogel, Meyer Wax, and George Wolder. Is there anyone else observing a yurt site, saying Kaddish for any reason? Let's rise together, page 598, Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish.
Yitgadal
V'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, V'alma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, Bagala v'zman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mivorach leolam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush v'chata v'nechemata. Da amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shloma rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to Israel, and all of the world. As together we say amen.
Amen.
Amen. We're going to now call to come forward as we take our seats one of our temple co-presidents, Sandy Sunter, for...
Not too much of a plethora tonight.
Not a plethora?
A mini plethora. A pleth? Okay.
For a reasonable number of announcements.
Right. Now if I can find it. I think I lost it. I lost it. What can I tell you? That is so weird. Remember I had a printing problem last week? I still have a printing problem. So, I will tell you. What I can tell you, it really doesn't have a... Shabbat Shalom, everybody, by the way. Shabbat Shalom to everybody here. Shabbat Shalom to everybody at home. And Barbara, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for coming, though, tonight, so we could see you and Jackie, hi. And for anybody who's new, welcome, and hope we have an opportunity to speak with you and introduce ourselves. Next Saturday, we are going to be having our special veterans Saturday morning Sabbath service. 10:30, we will be honoring our veterans. It's going to be a special service. There's going to be some good music. Iris will be here next week with Rabbi. And so we hope everyone who can, please come. If you've been in the service, certainly want to honor you, family members, but be a lovely service. We haven't had one on a Saturday morning for a long time, and there will be a light oneg or kiddush lunch afterwards. So please do come. The next item is going to be, we have our interfaith Thanksgiving that I've mentioned before. There is going to be, I'm sorry, I don't have do you remember the date, Rabbi?
November 16th.
November 16th at 7 p.m. At the Church of Latter-day Saints in Largo. It always is a beautiful service, very wonderful time to get together with our partners in our community to do an interfaith service. So again, please try to make a point of coming and attending to that. And I know there was one thing, and now I can't remember because I don't have my notes. There was one more thing. Do you remember? What is it? What? The sisterhood dinner has been changed because of okay, that's our international sisterhood dinner is going to be this month on the 30th November. So because of the interfaith. So again, you don't have to be a member of sisterhood, but please, if you would like to, please join us. It is going to be at the Acropole on Starkey Road. And we've been there before, and it's a lovely evening, so we hope everybody will come for that.
There's actually one thing.
Yeah, please.
Been asked to co-sponsor. It's a J&F presentation that CBS is hosting this Thursday. I believe at 6 p.m., but that'll be put out in an email on Monday.
Okay.
It should be a really, it's with one of the leaders of J&F Florida, and it should be a great presentation about status of Israel today and whatnot.
Okay.
Being hosted at CBS.
Awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Wasn't there one other thing we talked about? Oh.
Israel trip, good to talk about.
No, we want to? Yeah. Well, I don't have the notes. Get over here. But Rabbi, he is planning a trip for the congregation. Hope some of you are planning to attend. I'm trying to put my shekels together, so I'm hoping to go and be there with Rabbi and others from our congregation.
So on Wednesday, November 9th, we are going to have a 7 o'clock meeting to discuss the trip. We have an itinerary. Everything is posted online. Today, Pete sent out the link. It's been around a little bit, but now it's really been out as a solo blast. Hopefully people got a chance to look at it. It's a really cool itinerary. I definitely approve, as I helped create it. But it's a wonderful itinerary. It's a lot of fun. Really going to be focused on stuff that's not only good for first-timers, but also experiences that might be good for those who have been to Israel before. So I think it's going to be a really fantastic trip. That's going to be June 8th to June 18th in Israel in June of 2023. But the meeting first November for more information. Obviously, you can reach out to me for more information, just generally speaking. But good to come to the meeting if we'd like to go. Registration is open and certainly rolling, but we need to have some sign-ups in the next couple of weeks to be sure. So if you're interested in knowing more, please come to the meeting, or just take me aside at some point, and I'll let you know. We do have Jackie here. Jackie, December 4th, right, is our Hanukkah? December 4th, we have a Hanukkah Bazaar. What's the phrase we're using?
Hanukkah Bazaar.
I got it right the first time. Hanukkah Bazaar.
That'll start at 10, and it's shared and sponsored by both sisterhoods here at TBI and CBS. There's going to be food trucks, there'll be awesome vendors, there'll be lots of lovely things happening in it.
Are we a go in the donut truck?
We're not a go on the donut truck yet.
So close.
That may happen.
I ask for so little.
At 9:30, Joni Kigger will be, she's a fantastic local Jewish author and musician and educator, and she'll be joining us for a special presentation for our youngest one here. So if you have little ones in your life that haven't already been introduced to J learning, it'll be a really great opportunity to come by for a half hour of sitting and hearing from Joni. She'll sign books and lots of things to buy. There will be a
And-
donation back from these vendors back to the J learning program.
And the kids will do the usual. They'll be able to do their shopping and everything too.
All the shopping that you might want to do for Hanukkah will be available. It will give some proceeds to J
And as always, please read your emails, read the e-blast so that you're up to date on everything that we have planned. We do have our casino night, which is going to have a little bit of a different twist, but we'll get the details out. But we are going with it, and we hope that everyone will come to this. It'll be a different program, and I think everyone will enjoy it. And if anybody would like to be a sponsor or help to donate something for our silent auction or real auction, please let us know. We'd be happy for that. Anybody else? Does anybody have anything else while I'm?
Or we're just,
We're just talking.
talking here. It's fine.
We're just talking.
Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of good stuff is happening, and I know while this might not be the demo for it, but it is worth to mention that we do have a lot of really cool, like, youth programming coming up. It's just good to know, generally speaking, like, if you have, like, friends who have kids, grandkids, like, in the community, like, we have a really cool push right now, with our teens. It's been a couple of years, and it's been hard, with a youth group and stuff like that. But we have a trip planned, to DC, for our teens. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And we also have just some general events happening in the community. We're doing Havdalah and dinner at CBS, then a trip to Sky Zone. So it's like, it's fun. We've got a lot of good things happening. So it's just nice to see some of these programs coming back. We had a great adult ed program this past week. So lots of fun stuff happening. The history of ancient synagogues.
Yes, it
That's
was.
good. Oh, sorry, yes. Yes, there's one synagogue who's not playing with us, but everyone else is playing with us.
Lovely. And thank you for doing all of this. I mean, it's really been just not having kids in the program, but just know that there's so much. And I heard even somebody said to me the other day how whoever their child is comes on Sundays has been just loving coming on Sundays. So loving coming to Sunday school is pretty good.
Yeah.
Good feedback. And also just want to wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. Have a wonderful week. Take care
Oh,
of yourself.
we forgot. Say thank you to Pete,
Oh, thank
not
you,
only for
Pete.
streaming today, but it's also Pete's birthday today.
Oh my gosh,
So
should we
he is
sing?
spending his birthday
Should we sing? Should we sing?
streaming.
Come on. Happy.
Et Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach.
Happy birthday, Pete.
Happy birthday, Pete. Yeah.
And thank you for stepping in tonight and working with Rabbi to bring us our service tonight. Really appreciate it.
It's
Thank
brought to you by Time Life Books and Music.
You get it, but
With all that said, let us close. Thank you, Sandy. Let us close with Shir Chadash, which is on page
648.
648. And let us, as I like to do, rise together in song. It's good to rise. It's good to sort of get the blood flowing.
Rise like the challah.
Rise like the challah. Rise like the Sabbath bride is in your midst, because she is.
Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai Shir Hadash. Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai Shir Hadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai Shir Hadash.
As we conclude our service, a special shout out to Barbara Bloom, who's here this evening, and this is her last Shabbat before the move. But it's not goodbye, it's see you later. It's a Lehitraot because I'm pretty sure you're back in April for something, amongst other things. And so I'm sure we'll see you again. But we wish you safe travels, you and Bob, on the journey to North Carolina, to Asheville area, and just. It's
So exciting.
It's very exciting, and we wish you much mazel and much luck, health, happiness, joy, all the wonderful things that you deserve on this trip, and strength. And we will see you again sooner than later, I don't doubt. But we're going to miss you, but you're going to be back before we can even miss you so much, I hope. So it'll be great to have you here. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Oh, Motzi.
Oh, sorry,
Wait,
it's
wait,
Motzi.
Motzi.
Barbara, come up and Motzi with me.
Wow.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move. It's getting late.
Rabbi spoken. Ha-motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Thank you, God. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Ha-motzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Our own, I come in and at least have a shtickle and sit and visit.
Have a
in our-
shtickle, laugh a tickle?
We, not, did I say tickle?
You hear shtickle.
A shtickle? A
And
shtickle?
have a laugh with a tickle.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm just, yeah. Well, you appreciate my Time Life books, yes? It was perfect. You set me up. You threw me softballs.
Yeah, I try.
Hey, sometimes I'm on. It's because I tend to be funny by accident.
That's good too, though. That's good too.
I don't know why I always have a script during the Carter meeting. I cannot run through